I hope you are as excited as I am about another experiment. Over here on the board, we are going to do an experiment called the Wriggly Worm Experiment. I wrote out all the steps here with the measurements, but I want you to look way down here. Materials needed. This is what we need. The first thing, a gummy worm that got from the store. We have 2 cups. One already has water. This one we're going to put vinegar in, baking soda, a tablespoon, a fork, and a scissors. Okay? So all of those words are printed for someone at home to help you. All right, we're going to look way up at the top at first. Number 1 says cut the worm in half lengthwise, and then in half again. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to get a worm. I don't know if you've ever eaten these, but they're pretty sugary good. But for our experiment, I discovered that with the scissors, cutting the worm is really sticky. So I just dipped my scissors right into the water before I cut it. Lengthwise means the long way. So let me cut it all the way down to the end. Not your fingers, have to move those. Maybe an adult can help you with this part. Okay, so number 1 is said cut in half lengthwise. I'm going to dip this in water again, and then in half again. I have to tell you, I did this experiment, and I discovered that the skinnier the worm, another time we're going to read a book and talk about real worms and show you one from the garden. When they stretch their bodies out, they could get really long and skinny. So that's going to be the best for this experiment. All right, there we go. We'll put our scissors aside. Good. Number 2 says fill 1 cup 3/4 full with water. So that's what this cup has. And I just put a line there to pre-measure to help me easier, be a little more efficient with time. Okay, number 3 says add 3 tablespoons of baking soda and stir. So let's get that next. Go right in that cup with water. We've used these ingredients for different experiments, haven't we? Baking soda, there's 1 tablespoon. 2, 3. Okay, we'll set that aside. Now it says stir. Now, can you see how that baking soda settled all the way down to the bottom? So when we stir it, we want it to stir until it is all mixed. Kind of looks cloudy. It's clear to begin with all that baking soda sitting at the bottom. Stir, stir. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Number 4, way up here, says add worms and let soak for 15 to 20 minutes. So let's just add the worms. Remember how we started with 1 and we cut it in half? We had 2, and then we cut those each. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 all together. Now for this video, my friends, so we didn't have to sit and wait for 20 minutes because it's a long time. Let me show you. I'll put this one we just did and this one. I pre-soaked it so we could do this experiment with our time together. So now that we've done that, we've let it soak. Number 5 says fill another cup 3/4 full with vinegar. All right, so I made a line right on the cup. So I know about a 3/4 cups measure. Set that over here. Okay, are you excited? See what's going to happen. So next it does say number 6, fish out worms with fork. Drop into vinegar. All right, here goes. We're just going to fish them out. Look at all that baking soda settled to the bottom again. So I did just like the directions. I just set them in there after I got that baking soda stirred. And I just let them sit for, drop them in there. Watch what happens. 1, 2. Do we still have 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, number 7 says, watch what happens. Can you see already the bubbles? Yeah, those bubbles in other experiments, we talked about how that acetic acid in the vinegar reacts with the baking soda, which has sodium bicarbonate. That's all been soaking. I wonder if we can get a picture from the top. I see something happening with the worms already. Is that good lighting? See how all those bubbles are collecting around and onto the gummy worm? Did you see something? Wriggly worms. It's called a Wriggly worm experiment. It smells interesting, like vinegar does. And I can hear like a fizzle, like a carbonation with different soft pop drinks we've used experiments for. Oh, they are. It takes a little while. Have to be patient. Lots of bubbles. Now, I am not wiggling the table, but are you noticing how those worms are wriggling a little bit at a time? There again. Interesting. While you're still watching that, maybe some of you know what gummy worms are made of. Corn syrup, sugar, and different colors. Nothing that's alive. All added ingredients to make a gummy worm. All right, my friends, I'm going to watch that for a long time, and I might even watch it until... Oh boy, come look closer real quick before I read something. That one was moving all the way up to the top. You'll have to practice your patience as you do this video at home, this experiment rather. There he is. All the way up to the top. You see him? So I wrote this down here. Why do the worms float and move? The gummy worms float and move as the vinegar with acetic acid in it in the cup reacts with the baking soda, that is sodium bicarbonate. They've been soaked in. Remember, that was the first thing we did. We cut them. We put them in the baking soda with water. And here's the chemistry, the science piece. The chemical reaction forms carbon dioxide gas bubbles, which float to the surface, pulling the worms with them, making them wriggle until the chemical reaction stops. There you have it, my friends. You can sit and watch that as long as you have patience for. And you might even want to leave those worms in overnight. See what happens from one day to the next. There it is, bubbles. That worm straight up, wriggling just a little. Bubbles. Ever so slightly. There Have a great time, scientists. Always be curious. Always take note. Make new observations each new day.